Kaveh Saidi here, violinist and music educator. I'm back with another lesson in my series entitled Essential Elements for Strings, Book 1. This lesson series is for violin and viola, but don't forget if you're cello or bass, you can also follow along. And what we're going to do today is give you another preparatory lesson on how to hold the bow. The bow, remember, looks like this. It's a stick with horsehair right here. And there's some great exercises in Essential Elements for Strings, Book 1. And the first one is on page 7. This is a preparatory exercise that you're going to want to be able to do before you try to hold the bow. So don't try to use the bow yet if you're a beginner and you haven't seen this lesson. What you're going to want to do is get a pencil. And remember, this is my left hand. Your right hand's over there, and this is my right hand. Your left hand is on that side. So what I'm going to do is hold a pencil at eye level. I'm going to hang my right hand fingers as shown over the top of the pencil, and then I'm going to put the fourth finger on top of the pencil like this. So it should look like this on top. So holding it this way, touch the tip of your right thumb to the pencil opposite your second finger. Your second finger is your middle finger. And then you're going to want to lean your right hand so the first finger rests on top of the pencil between the first and second joints. So this is the first joint and this is the second joint. If you look at my sausage fingers, first joint, second joint, the pencil's going to be right in between those joints. So I'm holding and my thumb's opposite the second finger. So yeah, you need to practice this until it feels natural to you if you're reading the directions on page 7. So let me do all that again and go ahead and do it with me. Hold the pencil in your left hand, shake out your right hand, hang your fingers over, and this works for cello and bass as well. Cellists sometimes do this and don't put their pinky on top, and bass players as well. But if you're violin or viola, you're going to be doing it this way. So what I often tell students is that first knuckle has a crease. If you look right here, there's a crease right about there, and that's roundabout, not exactly where the pencil goes. Pinky on top, thumb opposite your middle finger, and you want to make sure that there's a hole here. Can you see that hole right there? There's a hole so that a little birdie can fly through it, and you want to make sure you're very relaxed when you're holding the bow. It's pretty much like picking up a pencil off a table, so go ahead and put your violin bow, your pencil, on a table or in your left hand. Carefully pick it up this way so that your hand looks like a crane. Put your pinky on top. Make sure there's a hole there. You want to make sure of a few things, that your thumb is curved and all your fingers are curved and you're holding it very gently. You want to be able to wiggle a little bit. You can tap your pinky, tap your ring finger, tap your middle finger, tap your first finger. Don't tap your thumb because you're going to drop the pencil. You're going to want to be able to do this a few times. Then, after you do this about 4,000 or 5,000 times, you're going to turn the page to page 8. Go ahead and turn to page 8 right now. And there's a few exercises you can do, like finger taps that we just did. You could turn your hand over, knuckle turnovers, and be sure your thumb knuckle is bent and that there's a hole right there that you can look through. Make sure don't poke yourself in the eye. I'm wearing glasses, so I think I'm good. You want to do thumb flexors. This is a thumb flexor. You can see a little better there. You want to do little pencil push-ups. Don't do this too strong. You don't need to be strong to play the violin or viola. You actually need to be pretty relaxed when you're playing and flexible while you're playing. You can wave goodbye, I'm out of here, and you can do a bowing motion. This is a bowing motion, so while you're standing up, of course, you're going to swing out at your elbow and leave the upper part of your arm, as you can see, pretty much in place while you're doing this. So basically you're pretending you're playing the violin. So maybe you could do this for 5 minutes and tell your parents, hey, I'm practicing. And they're going to say, I don't hear anything. But show them this video so that they know I told you to do this. Pretend you're playing a violin. You want to feel loose and relaxed while you're doing this. Never squeeze the pencil. Never hold it too tight. Now we're going to turn to page 12, and you're going to transition over to using the bow now after you do this 4,000 or 5,000 times. Don't forget to do that first. All these little exercises. Let go of the pencil, grab the pencil. You might want to walk around the house holding this pencil like this with your pinky on top. That is huge for violin and viola. If you're cello, this is okay, but some cellists, young cellists, like to do this as well. On top. Don't forget about the hole right there. It should look pretty much like a bird's head, you know. Maybe not. Think of your own analogy. So we're looking at page 12 now, and you're going to identify all the parts of the bow like we did before. You're going to hold the bow in your left hand. Your right hand's going to hold the bow. So what we're going to do is, just like we did before, hang your fingers as shown. Put your pinky on top. Remember that frog's going to be on your right. You're going to put your thumb opposite your middle finger, just like you did before, and just pretend this is a huge pencil. And relax. You're going to slide your hand. Don't squeeze. Your left hand's holding the bow. Slide until your thumb passes over the winding, passes over this part, which is a little leather called the thumb grip. And your thumb is going to stop as soon as you touch the frog. There's a little U right here and a bump. When you feel that bump, stop sliding. You don't want to put your thumb inside of the U, which I see all the time. Slide your hand, hold the pencil, slide your hand, your right hand, and as soon as you touch the edge of that U, stop. And that's pretty much how you're going to be holding the bow. You want to look like this. Remember, I'm not a mirror. That's going to be your right hand over there, and you're going to want to see that hole in the middle. You can let go with your left hand now and turn your bow straight up and down. And do your pencil push-ups and all your same finger tap exercises, and get a little bit comfortable. If you want, you can use your left hand to do this. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Hold the bow at eye level. Remember, think of it as a giant pencil. Never squeeze while you're doing this. Hang your fingers as shown, thumb opposite your second finger, pinky on top. That is huge. You got to do that. Should be leaned a little bit this way. Your wrist should be relatively straight. You slide, 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 slide carefully. Remember, your left hand is helping you. Slide and over the winding, over the thumb grip, and stop as soon as you feel that frog. And a couple things about the way it should look when you're at this point, at the frog. Pinky should be on top of the stick, directly opposite the end of the frog right here. So you see my pinky is touching. Not like this. It shouldn't be bent. It should be curved. The very tip opposite the end of the frog. See, this is the end of the frog, the square part. Tip is touching. A couple other things you're going to want to notice is that your fingers are wrapped around the stick, and these three fingers and your ring finger print, your fingerprint should be touching that circle. So if your hand looks like this, or like this, or like, if it looks funny and it feels tight and it's uncomfortable, you need to start over and maybe even go back to the pencil exercise without the bow and do this a few times so that it looks like this. Turn it straight up. You might even want to do an exercise I call the spider, and I learned it from my teacher when I was in second grade, is without your left hand, put your left hand underneath in case your bow falls, is crawl up the stick. See, I'm crawling like a spider. This is pretty easy to do. Don't cheat by dropping it like that. I see kids do that. And crawl back up like a spider. You're going to need your thumb to help you do this. This is called the spider. It's a finger exercise that helps you get comfortable with the bow so you don't squeeze too hard. And try to fix your fingers on the bow in those places that we talked about. Remember, this finger should be pretty much on the edge of the horsehair of this finger, pretty much on the edge of, if they're touching a little bit, that's okay. Your ring fingerprint should be touching that circle. A lot of you have circles right there. If you don't have a circle, put a sticker right here on your bow. So holding the bow with your right hand, it should look like this, and you should be able to hold the bow with the stick on top, the horsehair directly on the bottom, and your hand looking like a crane. Last exercise we're going to do are finger twirls, finger and thumb twirls. See if you could do that a few times. If you can't do that with the bow, go ahead and do it with a pencil. You want to do finger and thumb twirls because sometimes we're going to need to straighten the bow so that the horsehair is faced exactly downward, not out this way and not in this way. And don't need to bend your wrist to do this. Roll the bow, finger rolls. All right. So don't forget not to play with the bow just quite yet. You're going to want to do this exercise maybe about 5 minutes a day, this video. You can go back through this lesson a few times also if you don't remember all this stuff. But we're going to be going pretty much from the beginning of the book, plucking and using the bow. In the book, they kind of delay using the bow, and I like to get started right away. Don't forget, my name's Kaveh Saidi, and this is one of the lessons in my series called Essential Elements for Strings, Book 1. Tons of lessons are coming up, and I'm going to be doing 2 pages at a time. So you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to get notified about new lessons as they pop up. And if you don't have your book, there's going to be a link down below where you can purchase the book. Don't forget, with this series, you need your purchase copy to follow along with each lesson. Also, if you don't know how to tune your violin, I just made a video about that, so I'll link it down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. If you're a teacher, go ahead and share this with all your other string teachers, because I'm just trying to help as many people as I can during this crazy COVID time. And stay in touch. Type a comment in the chat down below, and if you're one of my Philadelphia School District students and you're still having trouble, type a question into your Google Classroom. Thank you so much. Peace.